Welcome to April's Garage, and I feel like we've all been there. We've all purchased terrible cars. Some people make a career out of it, while others, they just happen to come upon them. But there's a man that I feel like you've perhaps thought about this, you've envisioned doing this?
Well, before it became a laugh when I buy a bad car now because I can make a YouTube video about it. But yes, someone got really angry at a dealership hours after purchasing his Subaru Outback and wanted to return it. I'm sure some of you have seen this video. They wouldn't take it back, so he brought it back. Didn't give him a choice in the matter. He went full Kool-Aid, man. Oh yeah! Into the Mazda dealership.
Oh my gosh. I didn't think this was real when I first saw it. I thought it was like some AI thing.
No. But why is he's giving the car back, why is he taking his jacket off and leaving his jacket behind?
He's hot, the adrenaline's gotten to him, so his head's kind of flustered.
Oh, he's coming back for it, okay. All right, and now he's going out the door.
I feel like he took his jacket off to like brawl, to like fight, because that's what guys would do, right?
He has returned the car. And actually, as of now, the car is still for sale at this Mazda dealership's website. They haven't taken it down yet. So this happened at Tyndale Mazda in Southtown, Sandy, Utah.
Yes.
And apparently it's not over mechanical issues, which is very surprising,
well, because
actually.
wasn't it listed as like a mechanic special?
Right. So
what does that mean?
Yeah, it was listed for like under $4,000, which means it's a trade-in.
Right.
We're not doing anything to it. You buy it as is, where is, inspect it, know everything before you take the car. And apparently this person bought it and then regretted it a few hours later for who knows what reasons. Apparently it was over the price.
Right.
They're not saying it's because of the car, but because of the price. Maybe they got financing and didn't look till a few hours after all the fees that they put in it. And then he realized, like, instead of it being $4,000, it's $10,000. I don't know.
Well, he probably
Whatever
realized, like, oh, this is a Subaru, it's falling apart, the engine's crap, and now he's really pissed off about it.
It's possible, but the word on the street is it wasn't mechanical problems to that extent. So he calls the dealership a few hours later, says, I don't want this thing, I want to bring it back, which the smart thing to do, especially if you're a big franchise dealer and it's been a couple hours, like, yeah go ahead, bring it back.
So you can do that, even if it says as is. Like, I know the homes and everything, there's like contracts where as is very serious.
Technically, no.
Okay.
So especially with big dealerships like this, they'll have a we owe, you owe form where it shows we're not doing anything to this car. It is totally as is, where is. Same with, the buyer's guides, which every dealer has to do, as is, where is, no matter what. I pet the cat, so now I'm getting all itchy before I came in here. Yes. But this person, and I've seen it plenty of times because I spent 10 years in the car business, they just buy the car and they're just signing, they're not paying attention, and then a couple hours later, they get huge buyer's remorse. Like, what did I just do?
Well, that's not an excuse for doing that. I know sometimes when you sell your cars and people are like, oh no, I got into the excitement of it and I don't want it anymore. And they're just like in the moment. But you can't live your life like that. That's not how the world works. You have to be a man or a woman of your word. Yeah,
snap impulse decisions. With me, when I'm selling cars nowadays, it's people that they think they're helping me by bidding on the car, say when I listed on Cars and Bids, and then they actually get stuck with owning it. And they think, oh, like, I can't actually buy this car, so then I have to relist it, or they just caught up in the excitement and they realize they can't get financing. It's weird because they're sort of like fanboying, like buying a car that they see in the videos. It's not really like impulsively buying something.
Right.
But in this case, he called and said, I want to bring the car back. And they said, sorry, as is, where is, you're done, you own it, it's yours. And he said, if you don't take it back, I'm going to drive it right through your showroom.
This guy's
like,
pissed off.
I'm sure they're like, whatever, bring it, bye.
Right. Has anyone ever said something like that to you?
Not to that level of crazy.
Right.
But this guy followed through on his threat in a big way. And the Subaru held up really well, actually. I mean, you look at the footage.
Stop, you're the only one that would ever say something like that.
It looks fine. No, I mean, seriously, look at the car.
Is this the crash test?
Look, it is, I mean, look. It's totally fine. The windshield's not cracked. I don't see any dents, dings, anything.
So you're impressed with this?
Subaru took it like a champ.
I mean, the reality is nobody got hurt, which is what the most important thing about this video is. You never know. Someone could have been crouching down a desk, reaching for papers, like anything. This could have been a huge tragedy. And because the publicity that he's getting, is another person going to want to, piggyback on this and copycat this and do something like that? Because this is very dangerous. Do not do this. You will get arrested.
Well, there's a lot of people frustrated right now because they feel like they're getting, the man is sticking it to them with, very expensive fees, interest rates, the most recent killing of the United Healthcare CEO, or, so yeah, this may turn into a thing where it's like the movie Falling Down, Michael Douglas, where people have just had enough and they decide to get revenge in one way or another.
Right. I mean, when you first see it, you're like, what an idiot, I can't believe this guy. But then it's like you need to take a moment and think, what is his backstory? Does he have children that he needs to provide for and a car to get to work? And is there things just piling on him where he's in this hole? Because we've all been there. We've all been deep, deep in this hole that we can't get out of. And he's just completely exploded.
There is one dealership that I wanted to do this to. Like, I fantasized about...
You did not.
Like, torturing these people. Early in my car dealership days when I was barely making it, I had $50,000 in the bank to buy all of my inventory that I had saved up to start my own car dealership, and that was it. So $50,000 for an inventory for an entire car dealership is nothing. And I bought 3 cars out of Florida, spent probably $20,000 on these 3 cars, something like that. All 3 of them were so far not as described. 2 of them bad transmissions, 1 bad head gasket, another one where they had taken the instrument cluster out and put in a different one to change the odometer, and I could tell when it arrived because it was the wrong year for the car, ASR and all that stuff. Rust on the sunroof in a corner they didn't disclose. Like, all of them absolute trash, and I lost... I don't know, between 3 cars, at least $5,000.
That's insane. But then, don't you see where a car lives? And isn't Florida one of, the red flag
that's what
states not to get a car from
This
Florida?
was back in 2010, 11, before I had learned all this, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was just taking these people at their word, and I wanted to fill up a truck. With cars so I could save money on shipping, and they all seemed like such good deals. An 80,000-mile 95 E320, S320, the cars that I knew, and then a Jeep Grand Cherokee. I thought I was safe with these cars. They're all pretty solid, mechanical, easy to fix, and they just lied about absolutely everything.
So you had fantasies of doing what this man did.
Because I was at such a low point. Yeah, I'm in my mid-20s and I'm really angry. I don't have anything to lose as far as a family to provide for, any of that kind of stuff. I just wanted revenge. And thankfully, obviously I didn't do it. I wasn't going to go that far. But I definitely sat and thought about it.
The rage took over you.
Just taking pliers to these people's toenails and fingernails because they obviously lying. I was just so mad.
And we've all been there. What would you say when you're buying cars, because you buy a million cars all the time, what's the worst state? Like the biggest
Florida.
Literally, that's Florida is the worst. You're saying, okay, I might not buy a car because it's living in Florida right now.
It's Florida and New Jersey. And
what's wrong with New Jersey?
It's the same people, because the people in New Jersey moved to Florida because they're tired of the cold, and it's the same people doing the same shady things with cars. I don't know what it is. But yeah, don't. Unless you can go see it in person and drive it. Just absolutely.
So did anything ever come of these Florida guys?
No, I mean, I called them and all that stuff.
Right,
and
they just disappeared.
They just ghosted me.
That's part of the game.
I looked it up, and their reviews are absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And when their reviews get bad enough, or they get their dealer's license revoked, then they just get their cousin, their brother, their wife to open a new dealership in the same spot with a new license. And they just keep doing it. But there was one Kansas car dealership. It made the news, actually. They got fined a bunch of money. Yeah, the name of the dealership was Carnation LLC, and they didn't put a space in there, so it's just one word, Carnation, like Carnation Instant Breakfast. I don't.
Yes.
They were fined $394,000.
Shut up.
$394.
For what?
And shut down because they were buying crashed cars, not fixing the airbags, instead putting in defeat devices to turn the airbag light off to think that the safety system is working fine, rather than replacing side impact, front airbags, and all that stuff, and then selling the cars. They found over, I think, a dozen people that this affected.
Seriously? Because that seems like absolutely preposterous to do something like that. The safety issues and to trick people into doing that. Like, this is like some evil villain type stuff.
Super duper dangerous. And that's why the car wizard we've talked about on some cars, like installing an airbag defeat device, and he won't do it. Even though I know that he's doing it, he's worried like 1, 2, 3 owners down the road, they'll not disclose that we put in a resistor for the seat occupancy sensor or something like that. And then they'll trace it back all the way to him and get in trouble. It's totally understandable. It was very frustrating, like with a Lamborghini Murcielago that I had, where the airbag was $5,000. And they don't make it anymore. And it had timed out, something had gone wrong inside of it. I couldn't even get the airbag, and it had the airbag light on. And it's a very easy little fuse resistor that you could put in to get the light to go off. And obviously, I would tell somebody that.
Yeah, of course. But you don't know down the line. And, you know, like my dad does, take a piece of black electrician's tape and just put it over that little airbag light, and it's all fixed.
Well, that did happen to a friend of mine one time, because the E36 BMW, it has a strip of warning lights right below the instrument binnacle, and it's the exact same width as black electrical tape. And somebody, before they sold it to him, had taken that electrical tape and done a masterful job of running it all the way across.
Masterful, I like that word.
He drove it up. He was so proud to show me this BMW that he bought, his convertible, for such a great deal. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait, what's all this? And so I started peeling it out. Check engine light, airbag, ABS, all that. I peeled it all off, and like there it was, the Christmas tree for him to see. That he didn't know, so...
It could be dangerous. You never know what we're going to get into. So selling cars as is a little dangerous. It's a little tricky. Buying an as-is Subaru WRX, what do you think about these cars?
This was a Subaru Outback, so, you know, they have the head gasket problems and, like, all those things with high mileage. There could be a lot of issues with it. Subarus have their, you know, Achilles heels, most certainly, but going postal like that's... Have you ever... you would never go postal on anything. Have you ever come close?
No, I'm like I internalize everything and like keep it inside, and then I'd probably, you know, have a heart attack one day, type of thing. Where I feel like guys, like so many guys, throw temper tantrums and throw things and punch things. Like girls just really don't do that, right? You know what I'm talking about? Guys, just calm down. Don't drive through dealerships, because it can be dangerous.
Or it makes for a great viral clip. If you get permission. Like in a Roadhouse, that's what it reminded me of. The first time I saw it, you know, where they got the monster truck and drove through the Ford dealership, you know, that crazy guy.
So you like this guy now? You're like, this is great.
He's going to go to jail for a little bit, but he'll have a great story to tell for the rest of his life. He needs to go on VinWiki. That's Ed Bolian. Find this guy, pay his bail, and get him on VinWiki right now. Right now.
Terrible idea. Thanks so much for watching.